Hello, my name is Colby Nixon, and this is my cyclistic portfolio project using Excel. This is a capstone project to Coursera's professional data analytics certificate. So I started out by taking all the data and making sure to correctly download and label it for future use in case anything went wrong in the analysis process. I then started validating and cleaning the data to make sure that I wouldn't run into, again, any problems in the future. So the scenario of this project was a company that provides fictional bike supplier that is a fictional bike supplier to the city of Chicago, having over 5,000 bikes and over 600 stations that you can return the bike to after use. Casual riders are defined as those who have a single or day pass to ride the bicycles, meaning they can ride the bike once or for a full day. Annual memberships are more profitable than casual users and for company growth. The stakeholders want to focus on converting casual users into annual memberships and how best to do so. So they really focused on making sure that they were recruiting from the people already using their bikes so they didn't have to do another ad campaign. The data covers April of 2024 to April of 2025, so a full year for bike usage statistics, which is over a million rows of data. In the data cleaning and analysis steps, I made sure to focus on Excel to show my proficiency for this project. I removed any information that would leak privacy of the subjects of the study, and removed any identify removed any identifying identification numbers in the direct areas of usage, such as the longitude and latitudes. The data was validated by checking the outliers and distribution of data to make sure I wasn't having anything altered or that's going to cause problems in the actual analysis. For data maintenance, I made sure it was licensed by Motivate International and it's made available by Coursera through their capstone project, as I stated. The original data was saved in my computer and labeled to reduce any errors that may arise in the analysis process. The license can be found at divvybikes.com/data license agreement. As for the data cleaning, I removed the ride IDs, I removed start and stop station IDs, I made a new column for ride times, start to end, specifying how long they were using the bikes. I removed the longitudinal and latitudinal starting and ending positions. I added a column for the usage of hour, day, and month for usage times. I made a column for ride time inequalities, such as if they were below 10 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes, or 30 to 60 minutes, and anything over 1 hour, to make sure that we have a good usage statistic of how long they were actually using the bikes. I removed the start and end time since it was just kind of jumbling, and I wanted to focus on clean data. I attempted the mode of start and stop locations to see where these bikes were being used most frequently for the starting position, but I decided that the chart would be easier to view because it does count automatically. So the questions asked by the stakeholders in this scenario and the information given was, how do annual members and casual riders use bikes differently? The second question is, why would casual riders buy an annual membership? And number three is, how can Cyclistic use digital media to make casual riders into members? So this is the first pivot chart that I created for bike type versus day of the week to see where the distribution lies. So for the classic bike, you can see it's lower overall than the electric bike usage, with a majority of usage during the middle of the week, assuming that a majority of the usage is for commuters that do not want to use cars in that situation. So all bike usage is at the maximum during the week, assumably due to commuters. Total of all bike types is over 1 million hours throughout the year. E-bikes have the most usage with a total of 772,000 hours throughout the year, a maximum of 124,000 hours through the year on Fridays, and a minimum of 86,000 hours on Sundays. Regular bikes have a total usage of 512,000 hours throughout the year, which is under the proposed e-bikes. They have a maximum of 78,000 hours throughout the year on Tuesdays, which was interesting, and a minimum of 63 hours on Sundays. So it didn't align for the maximum of e-bikes to regular bikes. Both bike types have their minimum usage on Sundays, but their maximum day differs, which I found interesting. This is the second chart. it focuses on the number of casual members to the actual count of users in total for the classic versus electric bikes. So as you can see, the classic bikes, it's under the casual members is under the proposed full amount, and almost half of the total. So um, a vast majority of the riders are casual users throughout the entirety of the dataset. This may be due to membership types not allowing for a small enough period of time for users. This may be able to we may be able to rectify by supplying a weekend or week membership for visitors who may need more than a single ride or day pass. We also may be able to incentivize annual memberships for recruiting usage by showing savings, having deals, or exemplifying the comparison of the cost of a car and insurance to a membership plan. So, for instance, if we say the annual membership comes down to $10 a month for usage of the bikes versus insurance for a car and gas and all the maintenance would be, much higher. We also may be able to incentivize annual memberships through charging by the mile for casuals and basing the annual members off of time or a flat fee, so they're not paying based on mile. This chart is based off of bike type versus month to see what seasonally affects the bike usage. So we can see that for the classic bike between month 4 and 10, there's zero usage. And for electric bikes between 4 and 9, there's practically zero usage. So since this data is based in Chicago, where it has really harsh winters, we can expect to see usage go down in those months. However, it's inversely proportional. From May to October, we can see practically zero usage of bikes, as I mentioned. This may be caused from summer heat making commuting via bikes not feasible when going to work. We may be able to incentivize memberships by having a cold water dispenser for members only on the very hot days, a perk of having that membership. We also may be able to incentivize memberships by having a system similar to Uber where the demand of bikes determines the price of use. So in the case of it being very slow, the price would go down, and when it's very high, it would go up. Whereas annual members would not deal with that system. So when none are in price, when none are in use, the price goes down and the savings are passed to the annual members only. This is the chart for ride time inequality and bike type versus hours of use. So we can see that a a very large majority of people are using the bikes for less than 10 minutes in both cases of classic bike and the electric bike, where it peters off from 10 to 30 going over to an hour, with practically zero people using the electric bike for over an hour. We can see that the overall vast majority of bike usage happens when people use the bikes less than 10 minutes. This may be caused by the location of the bikes allowing for short rides or that people have one stop to make within a 10-minute riding distance. So to go to a store and pick up one thing and they may walk back or something. We may be able to incentivize memberships by having a flat membership fee for the year and only pay for the ride. Depending if you go over an hour or of riding at one time, very seldomly happens. May be able to incentivize usage by allowing a 2-minute demonstration and tutorial on how to use the bikes properly, such as a insurance endorsement where they offer a discount on your insurance after you complete that class. This is what I mentioned about the statistics of where the bikes are starting and ending up. So this is the start station time versus the ride time inequality. So this shows the amount of time that people are using based off of where they pick up the bike initially. So we can see that the maximum amount of bike starting locations is at Kingsbury Street and Kinsey Street. Although our max is found, the overall majority of bikes do not begin there. We can see that there is a minimum. However, since there are so many locations have below 100 bike starts, with the lowest having one, we need to redistribute the bikes in a more usable, dense area. This would lead to reviewing and moving bikes to where they'd be used more often to be able to have a greater density of people using the bikes, whereas some may be used all day and others may be used not at all. So these are the recommendations based on the questions. So the casual riders make up a quarter of the usage of bike hours, although there are 3 times the amount of annual members to casual riders of every type. A vast majority of users only use the bike for less than 10 minutes. Casual members would buy an annual membership if it was worth it to them financially or beneficially. My consideration would be to include benefits or a sale to drive the casual members to thoughtfully purchase an annual membership so you have loyal customers returning. Uh, cyclistic, the third recommendation would be cyclistic could use a similar insurance endorsement, which would reduce the wear on the bicycles being used improperly and further reduce the maintenance as well. By doing this, you would incentivize people with a sale and likely have more people coming that are already using the bikes. Lastly, of the recommendations based on questions, we can use social media to target members that have included to say that they have included free ice water or an air conditioned waiting area that's only available to the annual members, and perhaps allow a cheaper sign up at that period of time for people to actually use those benefits. Beyond the requests, my recommendations would be to improve the scale of membership to allow shorter usage cycles. Number two would be to improve the incentives for having a membership, such as the free water or any other benefit that would make people feel that it's worth it. Number three would be to incentivize memberships by rewarding longer use times or having a flat fee membership for the annual members. Four, since the demand of bikes is not included in the users, I can't make a determination, but if the bikes are undersupplied, we should supply more to fill the demand dependent on the ROI and security of the bikes. So making sure that they're not being stolen or misused or anything of the sort, but allowing enough people that do want to use them to use them. And lastly, review and move the bikes to where they will be used more often consistently. So where I mentioned that some bikes may be used once a day or all day. We want to make sure that we're getting the maximum amount and people are benefiting from that. So once again, the license can be found at divvybikes.com/data license agreement. I will put this slide on my website so it's easy to find. I tried my best to solely use Excel for all cleaning, analysis, and insights for the data without developing any bias or invalidation of the data. Thank you very much and have a nice day. I really appreciate you watching this. You can contact me via email at colbynixon01@gmail.com or my phone number is 760-408-6204. Thank you again for watching and have a nice day. Oh, before I forget, here is the raw data that I worked with initially. It contains over the million rows, like I mentioned. I went through the cleaning and analysis of everything. Um, it was just kind of surreal how large this data set was. This is the start of the pivot chart that I started with. I just wanted to show this for how I did the analysis. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.